Morning, children. It's a rather sad day for sunshine today. I hope you're having a good time at home. This is a video requested by Simi. You know who you are. It's to work out that part whole model, just to explain it a little bit so that you you understand the method a little bit more. The whole idea of part whole is that you take part of that whole amount to help you work out what the answer is. The reason it is part of a whole amount is because you're either almost matching you're either focusing on your ones units, your tens, or your hundreds, which here there aren't any hundreds, so you're not going to use that part whole model. You can't, because you cannot use the part whole model to work out 100 with a 10. It has to be unit with unit, ones with ones. I'm using unit because parents might know them as units. Tens with tens, hundreds with hundreds. You cannot mix and match. It doesn't work. So an example here is using what was on the BBC website on, was it the 29th, the 28th? I can't remember. For the efficient methods lesson, 1 and 6 make 7. We know that, but it's good to use this model to keep it in our minds. Sometimes we're adding quite quickly, or we're using a column method without regrouping. We might forget. This is just one of the methods used. It's not the only one. So 1 and 6 is 7. So we write it like that because 7 is made by the 1 and the 6. 2 and 6 make 8. And 1 and 7 equals 8. So that's how you draw that one. So if we were to work on this first one, 414 plus 70, 4 adds 0, you know that it's 4, because when you add nothing to a number, it is still that number. So if I were to write my ones here, that's where it would go, no problem. You would want to use the part whole method where my 1 and 7, the tens. So you just take a glance, it's all the way there. You take a glance at your tens, 1 and 7 makes 8. You basically don't have to think, right? So boom, 8 here. So instead of adding 14 and 70 to make 84, one of the ways you could do it is to use this part whole method, right? And then you just add your hundreds, 400 plus 70. There are no hundreds here, so it's still just 400. And we didn't go over the 100 to the 500, so we haven't needed to regroup anything. Right, I'm moving this whiteboard a lot. It's too big for the space I have, right? 124 plus 60. Now that 1 add 7 equals 8 doesn't serve me right now, because 4 add 0, we know it's 4. We add nothing to it. We want to use it for our tens here. So 2 and 6 is 8. I didn't have to think about that when I just looked at my part whole model. Which, when you're learning additions or subtractions, it's one of the ways that you do it. You remember which numbers go together to make what. So if you're adding 2 and 6, your answer will always be 8. It's a bit like knowing your number bonds, but instead of just knowing them up to 10 or 20, jumbling up my words, instead of just knowing your number bonds to 10 or 20, you know all the number bonds from 1 to 9 to 10 to 15, etc. So 2 add 6, 8, 1, there's no 100, so there you go. Again, you cannot do 2 add 0 or 1 add 6, because you have to keep it to the same place value, that same part of the whole number. And which part did we focus on here? The tens part, right? That's where. I think you're probably getting it now. Now, the this part whole model can also be used to work out subtraction, but you can't obviously work out 1 plus 7 to make an amount. You take away. So the way it works, 5 take away 0, you take away nothing, so it's still 5. 7 take away 6. Where is my 7 take away 6? So you go to your model that has 7 and a 6. It has to be in the right order, so 7 will be your greatest answer, because 7 is taking away that 6, right? So 7 take away 6, the only one that's remaining here is the 1. So 7 take away 6 is 1. It goes that way. All right, so then 7 take away 6 here to my answer. There are no 100. The 100 stayed the same. As you can see, it works better when you're not going below 100. So if you're at 500, it works because you're not going into the 400s. And when we were adding, it worked because you weren't going over to the 500s up. So you're not going across the hundreds, through the hundreds even, yeah? 0 take away 0 is still 0. 8 take away 1. Did I do it? It's here. So we work from our greatest number, the biggest number, because that's how subtraction works. Take away 1 gives you the 7. Yeah? So that's what I'm looking for. I'm not thinking of it in terms of 80 and 10. Yes, I should, because it is the tens. As long as I'm working out the tens, and I've not done 2 take away 1, because that's 100 and that's a 10, then it works. So 8 take away 1, it just told me, I didn't even have to think. And 2 take away, there's nothing there. So 280 take away 10 is 270. If you're quite an experienced mathematician, then you just know by looking at it, hang on, the only thing I'm subtracting here is 10, and you know that your 8 take away 1 is a 7. But this is just one of those methods if you're still working your way to that. And also I just find it useful. Sometimes you might, you know, feel a little bit tired. It's good to remind yourself what numbers go together to make what. The only thing you have to remember is that these two create this big number here. But if you were to subtract, you start from this number and you either take away this one, which gives you the answer of what's left over, or you take away that number, which means that that up there is the answer, because it's the amount that is left. Yeah. You cannot do 6 take away 1 gives you 7. It just won't work. It's not mathematically correct. So that's the thing. But you know that this is allowed because they've got little arms. They join up together, making this up just so that it helps you remember it. They're not arms, but yeah, 7 can take away 1 and gives you that 6, and 7 can take away 6 to give you that 1. All right, that's all it is. If you need a further explanation, let me know, but I think that's probably all you needed, because it was a new concept, a new idea that we've not really done. But a lot of the Singapore maths, a lot of the Inspire, they break things up quite a lot, and the reason for it is because if you can explain that relationship between numbers, then you've probably understood how numbers work, how they add together and how they subtract. And that part whole is useful because it helps you to really focus on either your ones, your tens, or your hundreds without getting mixed up across the different place values. Yeah, it'll be like a very busy winding road crashing into each other. You don't want that. Everything needs its lane. Okay, right, have a great day. Let me know, and see you soon. Bye.